on my mind a lot. Don't need no time watch. I don't know how I got you in my pocket spot. Yeah, that's babe, miss you every day. You like my oxygen. Make it seem like the barging down. Got my heart no barging in. From the bed to the floor to the couch. Might wake the neighbors up. Break you in and break you out. In the end, we're gonna make.
Dionna, welcome back for another edition of All Time High. We're ready to jump right into it. Take a look at how the market is performing. But first, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride. You know, I think as soon as anybody starts to see Bitcoin dip, everybody kind of freaks out a little bit. So we saw it, you know, retract a little bit down into the 66, 65, 64, I think, during this last week. And everybody was calling me like, oh, is it gonna? And it's like, calm down, you guys, calm down. And I think that's why we're grateful for crypto winners, right? Because you shake out some of these loose hands and you're like, okay, you guys didn't really come to play anyway, so go away and let us get some of yours.
Yeah, why is it not continually going up? Like if you look at the last week, it did come in at 72. It traced all the way back down to 61. It is a volatile asset. It's back up to 67. That's within a 7-day period. When you zoom out a little bit and look over the last year, hey, yeah, it would have been good to be in a little bit lower.
Yeah.
But
and then,
not financial advice. I know your friends are calling you and saying, what's going on? How do we make it work? Your favorite part, I think, of this is actually the screen that shows the extreme greed and fear. We're actually down a little bit.
Yeah, but still a lot of greed going on. Everybody wants in. You know, when we hit those highs, it's inevitable that people take profits, right? Like you don't make money if you're buying cryptocurrency in order to make money. The money is never made until you cash out. So just understand that people are going to take profits. And they're going to maybe cash a little bit out because at the end of the day, at least they made something off of it. If it turns bad.
And that's great advice, but asking for a friend, I thought it was hodl. Like, isn't hodl part of the deal?
I mean, it is, but let's say you put some money in and you can't hodl or you have to take it out or it's something that you don't want to wait for it to go back down or, you know, you don't want to take the risk. People will take it out. But if you're shorting the dollar, long game, right? You're saying that I think the dollar is eventually going to collapse, then hodling Bitcoin is the best thing that you can do. And, you know, some people just want to make money. So it's really up to you and what your goals are.
All right. Speaking of money, let's talk about, and something we look at a lot is not only the 24-hour volume, but the entire market cap. And so I was looking at this morning. I take a guess. I mean, obviously Bitcoin, the OG at $1.3 trillion. And then number two, our silver medalist, Ethereum, right there at 426 billion. So I was curious, how many coins in the top 100 do you think are actually over $1 billion? Now, this could have changed by the time that I completed this recording, right? But as we go down, you can start to see that Solana has jumped up to 84 billion.
Yeah.
Binance going 83 billion. They're neck and neck for that 4 and 5 spot.
Yeah.
And then it drops off again, XRP at 33 with USDC and Cardano.
Yeah.
But you tell me, I'm giving you kind of that range in the top 20. Let's see. It starts to fall pretty quickly, right? By the time you get to number 20, Litecoin, you're at $6 billion. How many coins do you think in the top 100 are over $1 billion?
Over $1 billion. Let's see. If we started falling off at 20, I'd say 26.
All right, we're going to go to 26, see if we're still at $1 billion. And this is part of what is blowing my mind. Because
it is. Yep. I almost said 30, but wow. Okay, keep going.
Keep going. There's an AI coin there, Render. We're going to get to that in a future episode. There's Stellar, who's always hanging around doing things. Keep going. I'm looking for this thing to start falling off a cliff, just like you were. Monero, that's the privacy coin. All right, I'm all the way. Oh, my friend Floki, we're at 2.2 billion, hanging in there, doing the thing. Look at that 24-hour volume, up 26% in the last 7 days, down 16. There's your volatility in a meme coin. We're going to talk about that too in just a second. Look at where we're going.
Did you know this ahead of time before you
asked? I did. I was looking at it thinking, and look at that. Within the top 100 coins.
Holy cow.
That's a lot of liquidity. I mean, that's a lot of money in the sense, and that's how we get not only to a Bitcoin all-time high, but to a market all-time high. So right there at 101, we finally fall below, and it's starting to move. It may, by the time we get off this episode, be above that level. Isn't that crazy?
It's impressive. I mean, you think of such an early market, how much money is just flown into it. It's absolutely insane.
And as I started looking around, doing a little bit of the research that I do your own research, not financial advice.
Yeah.
Take a look at what I found. Within Coin Marketplace, there is actually a sector that looks at the top meme coin tokens, right? So I can look at this by meme coin exclusively.
Okay. Nice.
Now, check this out. So look at how much is flowed into Dogecoin.
Yes.
I mean, and look, do you know more about Pepe? I know very little about this. I see the frog. I know the frog. Be the frog.
Yeah. I can't
Holy cow!
stand
Look at that. How many decimal places is that? I can't even count that high. But apparently, people have thought, well, let's just put $3.4 billion in to play.
Something. Yeah. Well, you know that. So Bitcoin breaks down to 1/1,000,000th of a part. So when you start going, so people always wonder, like, do I have to have a whole Bitcoin? Can I buy pieces of a Bitcoin? And you could buy $5 in Bitcoin if you wanted to. The decimal places ensure that there's enough so that everybody can have some. It's just a question of how much is it worth once you get your hands on it.
Fair enough. Satoshis, right?
Yep.
Just like the dollar can be broken down into pennies.
Yes.
Kind of find your lower. And speaking of breaking things down, if you didn't get enough in Dogecoin, if you look further down, look at that. There's some baby Doge.
Baby Doge. Yeah. Why
And look
not,
at that.
right?
And there's a lot of decimal places there. Now, you know more about the ERC20, and I'm putting you a little on the spot. If you don't want to go there, we don't have to go there. What does that mean in that particular place? Because when I see ERC20, I think of Ethereum and some of the tokens within their token foundry. But is that just one of those things where, like MAGA Trump, we take a name and we're like, it's a meme coin, we'll do whatever we want because we think it's fun and cool?
Yeah, it can be. Or, I mean, and I'm not saying that this is this specific project, but don't underestimate people's abilities to create copycats and try to fool new people. So somebody might see an ERC20 token, which essentially is what you would call an Ethereum token, is an ERC20 token. They see the ERC20 and assume that that's what it is, and they'll invest in it because they assume it's an ERC20 token, which is something they've heard all this about. So I'm not saying that this is it now, but don't be surprised if you find coins that actually follow that, because there are scammers out there who are just trying to take your money.
Well, look, I mean, we got Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10, ERC20, parenthetically. I'm just saying, I would investigate the utility here before I'd put in or understand the risk going in. But in the last week, down 41%. In the last 24 hours, up 13.
Yeah, you know, I've seen some Wall Street guys come in, and this isn't to do a blanket statement. Literally, I knew some Wall Street guys who came in and started a Wall Street Bets meme coin and made a killing off of it. It lasted a month, and then it tanked and never got resurrected again. So, I mean, you think about those opportunities, people are literally creating money from nothing. So on the business sense, it sounds fantastic. On the investor side, it means you really should do your own research before you buy anything.
Yeah, there's a lot of volatility. This is where the degens live. In fact, what I wanted to go to next, I wanted to share with you a movie trailer for those that are thinking about playing in this space. And it's interesting the different cycles that we've been through.
Yeah.
There is a movie called This Is Not Financial Advice. And so it's 2 minutes. I sped it up a little bit, not too much. You know how I do. I like to play things at 1.25 or 1.5.
Yeah.
I'm sure the directors and the producers who are doing the edits don't necessarily appreciate it, but our fans at home, I know they do. So let's take a look, and then I want to get your commentary after you watch this particular trailer.
Let's do it.
You got it. Here we go.
I feel like that's a great name.
Woo! Okay, New York Times, the editor said that these were out. That's me. That's crazy. That's crazy. Dogecoin is a joke. His millions are not. I literally took everything out of my bank account, sold all my stock.
Crypto trading activity hit a new high, new record.
Maxed out 2 credit cards and took out cash advances and threw it all into Dogecoin.
Recently rallied to be worth more than Kraft Foods, and it has no product.
I just became a millionaire by spending all my money on Dogecoin.
Look at that.
I know people that would put $10,000 in Dogecoin, but they won't put $10,000 in Costco. Like, look at all them cereals I eat. That's gonna be around.
My wife doesn't really get it. Her money's her money. My money's my money. Everything's cool.
We have made a decision to close your credit card account. I'm the brokest millionaire you know. If you guys know how much money I had in my bank account, you'd laugh.
I would sell no later than tomorrow.
Not selling.
We live in a time where people have lost faith in institutions, that the system isn't fair to them.
Like 10% of people hold 70% of the stocks in the stock market.
You know, we don't know about that.
Yeah.
You know, we come with this dream, shake a tree and money's going to fall.
I can understand why somebody says, I'm going to do it my own way. And there are other people like me, and we're going to go against the rules.
I'm Kayla, also known as Girls Talk Stocks.
I'm trying to be a voice of reason for people who want to enter the space, and now I feel like it's more volatile than I expected.
I just dropped 300,000. You lost $5,000, 1,000, well, however much you invested. I lost millions.
And someone's going to win, someone's going to lose.
Interesting.
Well,
I can't tell. Was it a cautionary tale or was it a like a good ending story?
no, I don't think it was. I think it was the amazing thing about documentaries these days, it just happens. I mean, there's one that I'm watching on golf, and they follow two players that are going to the tournament, and one wins the tournament and one doesn't make the cut and goes home early. And they've got the documentary of both. And I think the fact that they just had the cameras rolling happened to capture that particular predicament. And I think this is one of those where, holy smokes, they were filming this because the people had made all this money. Yeah. And he was the Dogecoin, you've heard about him, the Dogecoin millionaire. He kind of captured the hearts and minds, the imagination of America. Yeah. And then all of a sudden the thing fell apart.
Yeah, I mean, I told you before, I had a friend of mine who made millions off of Doge and never took profits because he didn't want to pay taxes on it. And I was like, well, that's kind of silly. I was like, first off, you should have called me. I could have helped you plan, like, not tax advice, but I could at least point you in the ways to capitalize on that. And second, like, if I had $1 million, even after taxes, I'm still getting what, like 700, 600,000?
Right.
Yeah. Right. I'm not so mad about an extra $600,000 that I got to share. Well, I mean, I don't like sharing, but we have to.
Yeah, it's part of the program. That's part of the predictive programming for death and taxes, the two things we know that we are going to participate in during our lifetimes.
I love the opportunities in all of the different verticals that are setting up just within the crypto industry alone, because that one stat of 70% of the people holds, or was it? So yes, what 20% of the people hold 70% of the stock market or something crazy like that. Where
what the lady said in the clip.
The way our economy is set up is for the rich to continue to get richer. To me, crypto levels the playing field, and it takes people who may not have those opportunities, where we're not qualified to buy blue chip stocks, where we could go in, invest a little bit of money, and even make some money for ourselves. But that greed dial steps in. And like that guy on that preview, he's leveraging things that he can't afford. He's tapping out credit cards. He's cashing out things. Like, they say diversity for a reason, right? You want to have a diverse portfolio. So if one thing falls here, you have other things to hold you up. So going all in on anything is never a good idea. You see people doing that right now because they're not financially educated. So while it's great that you have this playing field, it's also an open ground for people to take advantage of because they just don't know any better.
Well, that's where you get wrecked. I mean, and the interesting thing, if he did hold, and I think this movie's a few years old, it becomes a little bit more relevant today because it caught the last crypto boom followed by the winter. And I don't know, did he go back and continue to invest? Is there another story beyond this original story that's told? But it just helps you see, and I encourage people to watch it, the cycles that we go through.
Yeah. Yeah, and it wouldn't be surprising too to see, even if you hit it rich, if you don't have financial literacy and you hit it big, you are never going to keep it because you never had the skill set to get it to begin with, right? And so you see all these people, they're going to hit money and they're going to have a lot of money, and then within a couple of years, even with the lottery, right? Within a couple of years, they're broke because they just don't know how to manage it. So take this opportunity to educate yourself financially. I know this is supposed to be like a funny meme coin thing, and I feel like we
got real serious. Yeah.
So do it. Take big risks, but take big risks that you can afford to fail that aren't going to wreck you. But sometimes dipping your toe in just to be a little bit of reckless can pay off sometimes. And I think that those are the bets people are trying to make.
Right. Do your own research. Your risks are not our risks or tolerances. So make sure that it works for you and your family. Yes. I think he said, one of the quotes, it was great. I'm the brokest millionaire that you know. And to me, that meant that he was trying to keep that money invested in this thing that he saw as an asset. Like, he had achieved a point of no return.
Yep.
And so that's part of the fortune favoring the bold. But at some point, you got to check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's my secondary corollary to that initial comment.
Yeah, exactly. Hodl till you die. Literally sometimes.
Hodl till you die. We will leave it there. Dionna, thanks for another great episode. We'll see you next time on All Time High.
Bye.
You on my mind a lot. Don't need no time watch. I don't know how I got